We are starting the year together, our first Friday of 2025, and we're going to fall back and fall forward today. Our two special guests are Komanduri, returning back to the program. He's worked for Obama, Kerry, and Hillary Clinton. Here you can see him actually all the way back in 2007 with Bill Clinton and, similar hair. Really, you look, right. Yeah, you look pretty similar, Che, I would say. I'm gonna count it. We all know Che Day. Today is not a Che Day, but we still talk about Che Day when it's not Che Day, so how about that? We're also ending the hour tonight with Reverend Mark Thompson, a long-time commentator, analyst, political expert, civil rights activist, host of the Make It Plain podcast. Welcome to both of you. Mark, what is on your list to fall back and fall forward here?
Well, first of all, we all saw the initial reaction, and good to see everybody. Happy New Year. We all saw the initial reaction of what happened in NOLA. And of course, Trump tried to suggest this had to do with immigration and the lax border allegedly under the Biden administration. But that's absolutely false. We know that this was someone who was in the military and formerly in the military. And the same thing with the individual in Vegas, but just more of the xenophobia, while ironically there's a debate between him and Elon. I think they finally come together, and Ramaswamy around H-1B visas. So on the one hand, we don't like immigrants, but on the other hand, we want certain types of immigrants. But what this really points out and what is being ignored, Janet Napolitano, who was Obama's first director of Homeland Security, reported in 2008, as soon as they came in office and they were forced to walk it back, that the greatest threat was domestic terrorism, not anything from the outside. And we hear this now, we see this now further manifested, and it's unfortunate that they want to use this as an opportunity to push that xenophobic line. But that is the Kremlin strategy. That is the Kremlin line, and he's an agent of the Kremlin. And that strategy is the fog of unknowability. So we're all over the place. We're against certain immigrants. We're for certain immigrants. Immigrants cause terrorism. That is that fog of unknowability.
Yeah, and we have a headline on that. I think we can even update the headline banner because knowing you were going to bring up this important topic, I wanted to make sure that we just put the facts up that it's it's a citizen, right? There are times where you're dealing with other data and other issues, but if we're going to have this conversation, the news, the facts, Che, are that this was done by an American citizen, and if you care about the issue, security, each other, then you focus on the facts, not demagoguing it, right?
No, you certainly should not demagogue it. And this is a very dark playbook that Trump and MAGA have followed. It's historically leads to very terrible outcomes, where you basically look at marginalized groups and blame them for all manner of social ills. It has happened repeatedly to African Americans. In our history, it has happened to Jewish Americans throughout European history. It has happened to immigrant groups and other marginalized groups throughout American history and world history. And it is a terrible thing to start the new year off with. But that is where we are. And we have to, the thing that we need to do is we need to push back on this and say this is not the case. And the problem we will encounter is it's much easier to blame other people and other groups that don't look like you rather than ourselves and rather than American citizens.
Yeah. All right. What's on your list, Che?
Yeah, I think that critics of cancel culture who themselves practice cancellation should definitely fall back. And I'm speaking about Elon Musk and how he has taken to canceling various people on his platform. And this is a right-wing trend. They talk about how we need free speech and an open town square and open communications and anti-political correctness. Yet all they seem to do is cancel and censor people they don't like and eliminate viewpoints they don't like. That seems to be a more prevalent thing right now, certainly with MAGA, than it ever was, I would argue, on the left.
Mark?
Well, I would agree. We see what they've done with cancel culture. We see also what he's done in terms of his platform and promoting the right wing and the alt-right and a lot of conspiracy that plays into some of the things Che mentioned in terms of racism and xenophobia. But, I don't know, Che, I wonder how you feel about this. A lot of people are canceling X for that reason.
Right.
So, many people have decided that come January 20th, they're leaving X, going to other platforms such as Blue Sky for the very reasons you articulated. So while Elon is canceling so many of us, maybe it's not such a bad idea that we cancel X.
I got 30 seconds for your reply, Che.
Yeah, I think that's certainly the case, because in addition to having maybe objectionable viewpoints, which is one thing, we can debate those, we can argue those. There's a lot of misinformation of the kind that we've just discussed. Misinformation, things that are outright falsehoods, and things that are actually rather dangerous pieces of misinformation.
Yeah, and I think both of you raised those important points. With Musk, it was a guy who was known for gathering a lot of money in business, then wanted to make a new business, and he talked a lot about free speech during that rise of taking over Twitter and turning it to X, but he hasn't practiced it. And so people can then vote with their participation, just like the rest of the economy and the internet. Mark and Che, thanks to both of you. Happy New Year. We'll be right back.